Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids. Yes, the Caddy Booty Coneheads. You guys always get mad when I don't mention you one day. Rodians, Twi'leks, Garudas, list goes on and on and on. Donald Howland News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. But you know what, to be honest, today's gonna be more Donald Howland leaks, rumors, and speculation. I'm gonna need you guys to calm down, sit down, strap in for this video because we may be talking about everything that's coming out in 2023, some of it pertaining to this guy, Kenobi, and we're gonna do some conquest and chill while we talk about these leaks, rumors, and speculation. And we're at a 69%, so what better time to do it? But let me, I need to caveat something. I need to kind of clarify something before we get into it here. Let's start these battles. I gotta, maybe I'll get the max crate for conquest while we do this. How to put this in the right words. I do not by any stretch of imagination consider myself to be a journalist. I'm just a gamer. I'm one of you guys that likes to talk about stuff, likes to predict the future, likes to share my passion for Star Wars, games, and all that other stuff in general, right? I'm just a gamer. I'm not a journalist by any stretch of imagination. But I hear things, right? Due to my role, or I should say my presence in the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes community especially, you hear things. But I don't talk about them all the time because in a weird way, people come to me more than they actually visit official avenues of Galaxy of Heroes. More people would rather watch me talk about something than go to the forums. And they kind of use these as a source of their primary information rather than going to the forums. So in a way, although I do not consider myself to be a journalist and hold myself to those things, I'm just a gamer, I'm just one of you guys. I try to be cautious on what I report on or discuss about because I don't want people taking these things like what we're gonna talk today about as fact. And the reason why I'm saying this is because people are asking me if I knew about Son of Stars, if I knew about the Scythe and Terror Battle weeks, months in advance, why haven't I disclosed it? Because I don't know if this stuff is true. I hear things like, okay, kind of makes sense. I could see where they're going. And sometimes things just turn out to be wrong. And I don't want to look like an idiot on top of that. So what I want to emphasize before I give you guys a rundown, and I'm just telling you guys everything I've heard about at this point. And we'll say which ones I think are true, which ones are not true. But the reason why I'm also doing this is because, especially after seeing the Sana, the Scythe, the Terror Battle, it's like, all right, wherever this leak is coming from, it's turning out to be fairly legitimate. But that does not mean because these are legitimate, all the stuff we're going to talk about from now is going to be legitimate as well. So just take that as you will. And I just want to emphasize before we get you guys potentially a little excited, because this stuff has me excited too, just a reminder, it's just leaks, rumors, and maybe some speculation thrown in here as well. But some of this does seem very reasonable. And I just basically, after just me saying I kind of hear things, I just want to kind of put it out there what I do know. But by no means do I want to say this is fact, this is 1000% happening. But it'd be kind of interesting. Maybe throughout 2023, we're gonna be like, wow, yeah, this stuff was definitely, it was definitely true. So with that said, hopefully you guys are strapped in. You got your Jawajist, of course, the lady, the starter, so she's washing my mug right now. Well, at least hit the like button for me while we talk about all this stuff. All right. Now that we're on the same page, talk about the leaks and rumor speculation, why I interacted the way I do, yada, yada, yada. Why don't I don't talk about every single thing when I hear about it. Let's get into it. So on the topic of Kenobi here, the first thing that's there's two things I've been hearing, you know, because I hear things from multiple people, and then people that don't talk to, but I hear through indirectly what they know. The thing that seems to be the most likely to happen here soon is kind of diving into some Book of Boba Fett and some Kenobi TV show stuff. Now, I'm putting this at the earlier part of this because to me, it makes sense. Why does it make sense? Playing Galaxy Heroes for pretty much 7 years now, there's a pace with Galaxy of Heroes where when a TV show comes out, they usually wait about a year or so to kind of get into it and get into the characters because maybe they don't get early access. Maybe they do, they don't want to spoil stuff. So like, for example, Bad Batch, it took a year to get Bad Batch in. Phoenix, it took a while for the Phoenix Squadron and Grand Admiral Thrawn to come in. Mandalorian, took a while for Mandalorian to come in. So usually it takes a while for it to come around. This makes sense because come early in 2023, we're going to be approaching that year or so mark of Book of Boba Fett as well as Kenobi. And the first thing that I'm hearing that seems kind of true is that we're going to be seeing some Purge Trooper stuff. I love that type of stuff. Likely what I would expect, maybe an Inquisitorius tag of some sort. I would hope there's an Imperial Trooper tag. That might not be possible. Again, this part, the tag stuff is speculation. I haven't heard what the tag's gonna be. I just heard that allegedly a Purge Trooper is gonna be in the mix, and CG knows Bad guys with dark helmets and they have a trooper on them. They sell well. So this is probably something a lot of people would be excited for. And we did see an appearance of the Purge Trooper inside of the Kenobi show as well. This might tie into something a little bigger in this video as well. But let's keep moving on to the next thing that seems legitimate to me. And again, things I'm hearing from multiple directions here. And that is going to be the Pyke Syndicate. So we didn't really get a lot in regards to Book of Boba Fett. We did get Chrysanthemum many months later. That was all to be needed for Jabba, and this kind of makes sense for a few different reasons here. I think there's also a bigger thing that this is attaching to as well. So we're getting to about that year or so mark for Book of Boba Fett, and the Pykes played a big part. I could see a new Pyke faction, some sort of scoundrel, dark side thing. CG's been loving the dark side scoundrel stuff, and I've been loving seeing this direction that they're going in. But again, this just makes sense for me because it's kind of getting to that yearish mark after the TV show, and they want to probably do something that kind of pairs along with that show. So I would expect this, a very minor thing that I gotta caveat everything I'm saying because I don't want to speak as if I'm speaking from truth or fact. Allegedly some Tusken stuff as well. We'll have to wait and see. I would love to see Tusken stuff at the minimum, and love to see Boba Fett sign or Diamond Boba Fett sign, just Boba Fett have something more baked with the Tuskens. I feel like it's a big missed opportunity here. But the next point I want to talk about here, the Purge Trooper, I think is going to tie into this to some degree. I've been hearing stuff about a Cal Kestis legacy character. So think of, for example, Dr. Aphra. Think, for example, Starkiller. Those were legacy event characters that eventually came to Galaxy of Heroes. And I don't know what the model's going to be, what the requirement's going to be, none of that stuff. But the thing that makes sense to me is this is the character that CG knows people have been asking for a ton of. And they've been liking this legacy format that they've been using. I still don't know what the preface of the legacy format is because we thought, oh, it's to celebrate, non-canon characters with like Starkiller. But then Dr. Aphra changed the formula. Nonetheless, Cal Kestis is kind of a big deal character. Whether they're going to release characters tied to the Cal Kestis story, the main characters we came across, or they're going to kind of go with the Starkiller thing just through random stuff. Hard to say, but again, another thing in the rumor mill, allegedly a Cal Kestis legacy event sometime in 2023. Also, Bail Organa. I think this makes sense too. We're kind of getting to that yearish mark of Book of Kenobi in a couple months in 2023. Bail Organa, how do we not have this guy? Honestly, I think this is one of my favorite characters. If I had to pick like 20, 25 characters, I think Bail would be up there. So I don't know why. I've always loved his moral resolve to kind of maintain his composure despite things being difficult out there. I would be surprised if Bail Organa never happened, to be honest. So Bail Organa, especially seeing how they were used inside the Kenobi TV show, it makes a lot of sense to me. This is where things are gonna get, how do I put it, kind of questionable. Allegedly a light side galactic legend coming next year. Not hard to predict that. It's kind of a 50-50 if it's gonna be a light side or dark side, right? Or maybe 30% chance, maybe we might get a neutral character at some point. I don't know what it's gonna be if it was gonna happen. My guess is maybe a new Mandalorian. I'd be surprised if they never do another version of the Mandalorian. I feel like it'd be a big missed opportunity if they don't do at least some sort of at least legendary marquee type of thing. We need the Mandalorian, the jetpack. We need a Mandalorian that has access to his Pyke or Darksaber. So that might be more of a season 3 thing, which we do have some stuff to talk about in regards to season 3 rumors, speculations, and whatnot. I'm gonna throw this out there. My guess, seeing that there are allegedly Pyke stuff, maybe some Tusken stuff, if we're gonna believe that to be true, I want to believe that maybe they're gonna do like a new Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Maybe because the Book of Boba Fett, Sign of Jango, I should say, is based off the Mandalorian season 2 appearance. Not so much the appearance that we saw inside of the Book of Boba Fett. And let's be honest, Boba Fett inside of Book of Boba Fett, you would never think the guy was a bad egg. He was kind of a pretty cool dude, if you ask me. Very kind, very chill, very respectful, dare I say so. That's just my guess. Again, I've heard nothing of the sort what the Galactic Legend would be. Is Boba Fett a Galactic Legend worthy character? It kind of makes sense that from a theming perspective, you just had Jabba. Who's going to replace Jabba? Boba Fett? I don't know. I do think there's, again, I haven't heard anything about Boba Fett, but just in my mind, hey, if they want to be cute, it's kind of thematic. Jabba comes and it gets replaced, usurped by Boba Fett. So that's something that's interesting. After this mark of this stuff, I want to say this might be so far in the future, it might not happen, or we're not going to hear about it for a while. So buckle down. You might be like, oh, why hasn't this happened? First off, I never said this stuff was going to happen. It just, there's a history record of a lot of this stuff coming true. Secondly, we don't know the timetable for a lot of this stuff. Don't you like how I just dropped this on you? Allegedly, this, I'll be honest, from the people that talk to me, I didn't hear this directly from. This is stuff that just came out of like the SWGoH speculation server. A lot of leakers in there, and a lot of them have a good track record on things coming true before they actually are confirmed. This one's kind of wild. I have a BS meter, and the BS meter is kind of high, but the rumor mill, it could be them just trolling again when they have a certain. That's the problem. When you have someone that has maybe legitimate leaks, and they do call them out like we have seen several times this year, you know, they can maybe get it wrong at one point, or maybe they could just be trolling. That's why, that's again, another reason why I try not to report on all this stuff, because you don't know if it's true. But anyways, Gungan faction. We've been making this joke. Justice for Gungans. Where's the Gungan factions? Oh, SWGoH Gungans. Allegedly a Gungan faction might be in the work for 2023. I just don't see why. Where would it plug in? Maybe there's a bigger theme I'm not seeing right now. Maybe they want to do a Phantom Menace type of deal, but allegedly it's supposed to be kind of like Inquisitors. I just find this hard to believe, this part. The Pykes and Purge Troopers, okay, I can see that legitimate. But allegedly Gungans, maybe they'll be needed for like a Jar Jar legendary. I mean, I'm all for it. I think that'd be hilarious. I would love to see a Gungan faction, but it just seems out of the blue, right? When you're looking at the stuff, it's like, all right, Boba Fett makes sense. Kenobi stuff makes sense. Gungans is really out in left field. So again, take it as you will. It might not happen. I think one reason I'm looking forward to doing this video is to see if this stuff comes true. So maybe I feel more comfortable talking about this stuff for the future if it comes from these variety of people I hear from. Otherwise, I'm very cautious. Like, I would never, the second I heard about this, I would never just jump to video and say, hey, Gungans are coming, because it's hard to believe. And again, I'm not a journalist, but I try to keep, I try to find that thing where I just, because of the presence that we have, and we're kind of like the unofficial forums, I don't want to be talking about this stuff too often unless they seem legitimate. This one I actually kind of believe. Apparently they're working on some sort of Naboo starfighter, a Naboo ship of some sort. Now, of course, there's several Naboo ships. You have Padme's Naboo star. It's not a starfighter. It's a cruiser, right? She's got more of a cruiser. This makes sense to me. I mean, like, again, this is one of those come on moments. You know, we all know that they got to be making some sort of new Mandalorian ship. I mean, that's kind of a big piece of Mandalorian's identity is the ship. This is not surprising. I probably should move this before the BS meter section that I had. This I see legitimate seeing Mandalorian's new ship, and I would love to see it. It was such an awesome moment, especially when Mando flies through where the original pod racing map and whatnot. So I'm all for this. I think this passes my BS meter test. The Gungans, not so sure about that. That just seems unlikely, but I'm kind of hoping it happens. Okay, more crazy stuff here. I don't know how this works out because this might be tied to season 3 Mandalorian. That's why we have Mando in the back right here. We haven't seen the new season Mandalorian. Maybe I would be blown away if this turns out to be true. But apparently some sort of dark side Mando is in the discussion. Works. Maybe there's something in the new TV show season 3 that we don't know about. Maybe CG got some news of it. Maybe they want to get on top of Mando season 3 right away. If so, this is a huge plot leak. I'm putting this in the BS meter. Okay, this is probably not true, but some sort of maybe dark side Mandalorians is maybe what it was trying to get across. Not so much dark side Mando themselves. Maybe Grogu turns to the dark side. Maybe Mandalorian turns to the dark side in season 3. Man, talk about sad moment if we see some of our favorite heroes on screen make that plunge to the dark side. So I'm gonna put this on the BS meter, and of course, allegedly some season 3 Mandalorian stuff as well. This is kind of vague, and my speculation is just based off seeing how the usual trajectory goes. I mean, look, we had season 2 Mandalorian, and it took like a year for Fennec to finally come to the game and book of Boba Fett's or Boba Fett's Sign of Jango stuff. So it's not impractical that season 3 Mandalorians will happen. I just find it impractical that's going to happen right away in 2023. Now, this could be late 2023. Maybe late 2023 going to early 2024. So I definitely think it's possible. I would never say we're not getting season 3 Mandalorian, so I would expect so. The timing is when and what's the plot going to be like is I think the main point of contention. for me. And then lastly, this is showing its funny little head up again. This, I do believe, is going to happen at some point. When? All this stuff is a question of when. When is it going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. The thing you got to understand, especially with game development, is that to actually, let's say they actually act upon something like a new character, you're easy probably looking at a 3-month window of getting approval, designing, all that other stuff, beta testing. But there's discussions that happen months before that. It's not like they just said, hey, we're going to do this character we start today. There's usually discussions and they lay out their roadmap of how they want to tackle things. This could be just the roadmap for 2023. And we don't know when this is going to happen. I would not say they're working on this right now. They might not work on Ravager until later on. But remember in 2021? There was a massive leak and 80-90% of it came through. We heard about the Qui-Gon Omicron. We heard about the Grand Arena changes. We heard people saying Starkiller felt lackluster, but that was because they did their testing inside of Squadron, and he is a bit lackluster in Squadron. Obviously, fantastic character other than that. But the Ravager was on there, and the Ravager thing, that was the only thing that didn't come to fruition. So I do believe that leak was legitimate. Obviously, a lot of stuff happened, but maybe that's some stuff wrong. Maybe the Ravager wasn't supposed to happen that year. Maybe it's supposed to happen in 2023. So for those that are disappointed, I still get this question. Where's the Ravager? You know, maybe they got mad that so much got leaked that year, and they're like, no, we're not going to give them every single one of those things right. Who knows? Maybe it was a pride thing over at CG potentially. Their pride got hurt. They had a lot of stuff got leaked out, which I kind of understand. It kind of sucks if you have all these cool plans and they kind of got out there a little too far in advance potentially, but they absolutely have a hard time keeping a tight ship there. So Ravager, Nyla ship, the only thing I'm thinking of is it doesn't make a ton of sense right now. We don't have a lot of great Sith ships. I mean, really, the only Sith ships that aren't really needed right now, man, imagine seeing that 10 times over. You have yourself the Scimitar, Sith, what is that? The Sith Assassin ship. And then you have Sith Bomber, which is kind of useful. Now, they could very well make Ravager so good, it could take garbage fleets or ships and turn them into an amazing fleet, of course. I would expect this more of a later 2023 thing, once they maybe add a couple of new Sith items out there. But so far, this is all the stuff I've heard. Some of this, like the Gungan stuff I heard about recently, and from people that don't normally tell me stuff. But this is all I know. And again, I just want to emphasize one more time, this is all just speculation, rumors, alleged leaks. We're not going to know the full picture until it just starts happening. And if we start seeing things get checked off, you know that there's probably some good degree of credibility in the stuff that's being discussed in the Galaxy Series community. But also just want to remind one more time, just because someone says something, I don't just pick it up right away and start talking about it, because I question the legitimacy and I don't want to talk about every single thing. Because at some point, if I talk about every single thing someone talks about, it's just me picking up some random person's hope, dream, speculation, and there's no credibility. But seeing that there is a track record this year with a lot of the stuff getting leaked out early and then it actually comes true, I feel confidently talking about some of this stuff here. Book Boba Fett, Kenobi stuff seems pretty legitimate. Some Mandalorian stuff as well. Gungans and some other stuff a little questionable. Dark Side Mando, boy, that would geez, if that part is true, I think CG would get in deep trouble with Disney about that. I find it unlikely CG knows about some sort of major plot that's going to happen Mandalorian season 3. But nonetheless, let me know out of this stuff, what do you believe? And also on top of that, what do you want to happen for sure out of this list? I do think we're going to see some of this stuff in 2023. But you guys let me know. Always great hearing from you guys in the chat. Always love talking about this stuff. A lot of good stuff if this is the case. Like, it's some interesting stuff that's coming down the pipeline for 2023. And I think one other thing to note on top of this is that some of this stuff kind of fits with that whole new territory battle as well. Purge Trooper and stuff like that. Bail Organa, Rise of the Empire. Time will tell. But one thing you don't need to wait for is saying how it's great to be in the Empire today.